Let's go. Big story today. Big story today, guys. I just want to get right to it. As always, you know about the store. Please hit it up. Every purchase helps so much. And if you've purchased anything from us, thank you so much. It means the world to us. But let's get right into the story. James O'Keefe sued by Project Veritas. Absolutely ridiculous behavior by the once great media outlet of investigative journalism. James O'Keefe was good enough to make his first stop at the Timcast, Tim Pool's podcast. He sat down with Tim Pool for a couple of hours and they talked some stuff out. I'm going to show you two clips of Tim outlining what's happening within the lawsuit, the fact that they are suing James, and then what they actually want from James, which is absolutely crazy. Makes no sense whatsoever. And in my opinion, these are the last throws, the last grasps at a dying company. And I think they have it in their head that if they get rid of James and O'Keefe Media, OMG, they want to get rid of both. They want to silence James and get rid of his media company. This is absolutely ridiculous. But let's get into the first clip here.
We need to give context first. So the first segment we have from timcast.com, James O'Keefe and media group sued by Project Veritas Action Committee. The Project Veritas founder allegedly ran amok, put his own interests ahead of the outlet. Former CEO and founder of Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, has been sued by his former outlet. O'Keefe Media Group and two former employees of Project Veritas, R.C. Maxwell and Anthony Iatropoulos. Am I pronouncing that right? Iatropoulos?
I believe so, yeah.
Are also included in the lawsuit for allegedly breaching their contracts for the benefit of OMG. They say O'Keefe allegedly ran amok and put his own interest ahead of Veritas, which asserted the outlet's founder failed in his duties and caused serious and significant damage, according to the lawsuit, which includes Project Veritas Action Group as a plaintiff. The lawsuit notes O'Keefe was suspended but not removed as a member from his former role in Project Veritas as CEO and president of Project Veritas Action Fund on February 6th. So I want to just simplify this. They're saying that, James, you, in the lawsuit, you have no right to start a company. You have no right to do the work you've done. And this was the shocking thing to me. The work that you have historically done before Veritas, during Veritas, and now after, they say is proprietary to Project Veritas. Mm-hmm. So what's going on in your words?
Ooh.
So basically, they're saying that investigative journalism is their thing and no one else's. I just want to give you a little background into what he's talking about here in this article. They actually do outline what the breach of contract was. Here you can just see the actual lawsuit there. Let me make myself a little smaller here for you guys. You can actually see that Project Veritas is the plaintiff and James O'Keefe, Transparency, LLC, O'Keefe Media Group. So they're trying to sue two of James's colleagues who have just been through the absolute fire with him. And I believe they used to be Project Veritas employees as well. I think they left alongside James. And they're trying to take the media group away as well. This is a definite play for silence. But let me just go to something else here really quick. Oh, this is like the whole thing. Let me just move here. So this is where they're saying that he broke breach of contract. I have it highlighted here. They're saying, in fact, he wasn't terminated until May 15th, 2023. The goal was always to achieve an amicable solution to the personnel mismanagement and the expenditures for the organization experiencing significant growth. So basically they're saying he wasn't fired. We didn't fire James. We just wanted him to stop doing his work for a little while, which was, silencing him. And so we could just work things out. And who knows how long that would have took. That's why James just literally within a month of being ousted from the company decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. And he's been doing it amazingly. Again, this is absolutely ridiculous. There is going to be a lawsuit because they are pursuing it. But I doubt that they're going to win. I just don't see how they could. Just another thing, Project Veritas will never be stopped. So basically, they're just saying the video James made was a breach of contract, if you remember his farewell speech, which he did at Project Veritas. And all of the staff listened to his farewell speech. They all listened to it. I'm going to show you another clip in a second. They all listened to his farewell speech. They had no problem with him doing it. This seems like the board is attacking James. This doesn't seem like the employees have a gripe with James. It seems like the board, the stakeholders, the shareholders all have a problem with what he's doing right now, and they feel like if they can silence him and if they can accuse him of all these things, well, that will slow down what he's doing with O'Keefe Media Group. And I have no idea. They're obviously not trying to reconcile any kind of relationship. They can't be. Absolutely ridiculous. But let's get into another clip. This is where Tim breaks down exactly what's going on, and Tim is saying this correctly. James O'Keefe is sitting right beside him, and he agrees with everything that he's saying, just so you know. It's not just Tim just making stuff up here.
I have it here. I have it pulled up, actually. And their relief. Let me show you the prayer for relief. This is what Project Veritas is asking of the court. It says, declare O'Keefe in breach of his employment agreement in violation of his fiduciary duties and in violation of his duty of loyalty. Declare Eatropoulos in breach of... What's up?
Do you want me to bring this up?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Declare Eatropoulos in breach of the Eatropoulos agreement. Declare Maxwell in breach of the Maxwell agreement. Declare OMG to have tortiously interfered with the employment agreement, the Eatropoulos agreement, the Maxwell agreement. Declare O'Keefe to have misappropriated plaintiff's trade secrets. That's big right there. Declare O'Keefe liable to indemnify plaintiff for the cost of defense and or liabilities arising from actions taken by him or his errors or omissions. Issue a preliminary and permanent injunction enjoining O'Keefe and OMG from soliciting or contacting plaintiffs' donors, employees, or contractors, disparaging plaintiffs, obtaining, using, or disclosing plaintiffs' confidential information, and keeping and failing to return plaintiffs' property. Now, some of these things, look, I understand, like, you got to give the property back if you have any, whatever that may be about. But there's some things here that are the trade secrets. What you need to understand in this is, here, you can respond if you can or want to. The way I see it, James, you started Project Veritas. You brought trade secrets. They then, it seems like an institutional capture with one of these guys on the board apparently having pronouns in his bio or something. All of a sudden, they're telling you, you're locked up, you're suspended, stop doing your work. So you go off and do your own thing. And then they say, nope, we own those. Everything that you built, we own. Every technique, all the methodology, those are ours and you can never use them again. That effectively says the methods of James O'Keefe can never be used by James O'Keefe again.
And the money that was raised and that I raised, taking lots of black cars around to raise it. I don't know if you get the inside joke there, but they say there's black cars are inappropriate. Was raised to expose corruption, and now is being used in an effort to stifle my efforts to expose corruption.
I want to add to this.
So how does that work?
The black cars thing. They say that you drive around in these like SUVs or whatever that are very expensive. I'll tell you guys a story. We did an event in New York, and we had very serious security threats. We had security running around the building looking for individuals who we believe were involved in very serious threats and swatting and things like that. So when the event wraps, and they're like, here's your exit, Mr. Poole. I'm like, yo, there's like 100 people out there and we're under like tight security conditions. So I need to like get out. James says, I have a vehicle for this reason. Come with me. And then James brings me into an SUV. There's a reason why you have vehicles like this. To use that against you when you are the target of threats, death threats, like ridiculous law enforcement raids.
I mean, who's funding this? What money are they using to pay for this? Is it 501c3 money? I mean,
donors who gave to Veritas are paying them to sue you.
Right? I mean, bear with me for a minute. It's going to take about 90 seconds. I want to read something to you. You know, Dr. Malone, the guy who did the stories about COVID and very smart,
fantastic,
very smart guy.
Robert Malone.
I've become pretty close to him recently. I was having dinner with him, but he wrote this a few months ago. I just want you to listen. Just bear with me for 2 minutes. Remember that story about Pfizer with the cage fight? This happened a few days after that. These are Malone's words, and I just want to read them before your audience because this is profound. He wrote this on like a Substack or something. Without knowing the details of all this, this episode has all the earmarks of a terrible institutional problem in nonprofits that we've seen many times before. All it takes is a remarkable success, big infusion of money, a weak, jealous, confused board using disgruntled employees as shields. The board develops a backwards-looking focus, taking apart the success, Why did management take those risks? Why did the head of the organization not consult with us? Why didn't the head of the organization follow industry established practices? How come the organization's president did not do something different than what he did to establish long-term success, which is a word that they used, long-term success. I remember this one time I raised $1 million and they said, well, you could have raised 10 million if you did something differently. I was like, what?
This is, it goes on like this. Again, this is a 2-hour conversation. They just break some stuff down. But I just wanted to bring you that because those are the big notes. What Tim said about how they want him to stop, that they have these trademark secrets. What James does is owned by them. I don't understand how that makes sense at all. I don't know if this is something that's going to hold up in a court, but to me, it makes absolutely no sense, and I don't see how it could hold up at all. They're basically saying, like I said at the beginning of this, that they're saying that investigative journalism is something that they have trademarked and no one else can do. What if somebody else other than James came out doing the exact same thing, which has been going on? James has been helping people do exactly what he does. Would they be able, do they feel like they would be able to sue that person for their trademark secrets? This is flimsy. And I said this when this first happened to James, when he first got ousted, that their excuses that they were saying that got rid of him from the company were just flimsy. You know, the whole, he took a sandwich from someone, he uses too many cars, which I did the math on it. It was like $200 a day he was spending on these black cars. And as you can see by the story that Tim told, these cars are very necessary, especially when you're someone like James O'Keefe. You're basically, ambushing people to an extent to try and get the truth out of them, holding them to what they've said on hidden camera, and they have to run off. Most of the times they run off. He has to follow them, and then he has to get out of the situation as quick as possible. So it makes sense that he has the black cars. Makes sense that he spends all of this money, because when you do an investigation, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars that we do not see. Whether it comes to paying people, paying the person, getting the technology, the editing, the breakdown, the camera people, it all costs a lot of money. So, yeah, I really don't understand how they're going to make this hold up or why they're doing it. Again, I think it's the board just coming after James. Not only did he uncover something big when it came to Pfizer, he uncovered something very big. And it upset somebody within the board, or somebody who was adjacent to the board had a connection to someone in the board. We'll never know, because the board members do not have to declare themselves ever. He did that, caused huge waves, and now he has a company that essentially is Project Veritas 2.0. They're very upset with that, because now any return or any amount of money that they could raise has been taken away, because anybody who is giving the Project Veritas, probably a huge percentage, probably now gives to James O'Keefe and the O'Keefe Media Group instead. So James essentially killed the company, but he didn't do it willingly. He did it because he was forced to. So again, this is going to be an eventful time. I don't think James is down for the count. I don't think he's going to stop. I don't think he's going to be silenced, but he is looking for donations in terms of subscriptions and things of that nature to help him actually fight this case, because, like it or not, there is a case and it's going to happen, and he's going to have to go to court. Yeah, but it's just a very, very sad news. And honestly, this, in my opinion, this is it for Project Veritas. They're done. Like, who is looking at Project Veritas like a reputable place? Like a place of integrity. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know the inner workings of the company. I know they're still trying to do what they do, but to think that they can take the founder out of the company and then also attack the founder to the point where they pretty much want him to just fall into silence, fall into obscurity. I don't get it. I just don't get it. People are saying that they pulled a Bud Light because they're just blind with rage, blind with wokeness, whatever you want to call it. They pulled a Bud Light. They just they don't really know what they're doing. from the looks of it, or they know exactly what they're doing, because somebody on that board has some sort of connection to whatever James has been pushing and uncovering. They always say follow the money. I'm sure if you followed that money, if we were allowed to know who those board members were, all of this would make a lot more sense. But we can't. So I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I will keep you updated on that case. I'm going to post 2 more clips to this interview that I found very, very inspiring. James O'Keefe says a lot of great things in this interview. Give it a listen. Other than that, I am out. Like the video, please. And go support O'Keefe. O'KeefeMediaGroup.com. Support, subscribe if you can. You know, I know money's hard to come by. I'm no stranger to that. So do what you can. Or even just follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him like on Twitter. Anything you can do. Other than that, I'm out.